Okay. And we're live. Hey, everybody. It's Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter. Welcome to the daily check-in for September. Oh, geez, it's the 14th. Oh, my goodness. September 14th. Happy September 14th. And you might know something is a little bit different this Monday. It's usually professional development. And you might have, if you caught last week's, you would know that I'm going to bring a guest on to talk about the best career advice they ever received. So my guest today is the esteemed David Davis, a good friend of mine, an expert on all things VMware, a fellow Pluralsight author, and there's just so many accolades. I don't even know where to start. So maybe, David, why don't you say hi and kind of introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Hey, it's great to be on this inaugural guest episode of your professional development. I was checking out your YouTube channel, and you've got all these different shows. It's really awesome what you're doing there, Ned. I'm again honored to be on. My name is David Davis, Pluralsight author, mostly around VMware content. Fundamentals of cloud computing is another one of my popular courses, but I've been creating training courses since I think 2006, quite a few years.
Wow. Okay.
Now, yeah. So there's 83 courses in the Pluralsight library. And I joke that I do that in my spare time because my full-time job is I'm a partner at a company called Actual Tech Media, where we do online technology events around mostly educational sponsored technology solutions, if that's a good way to sum it up. I don't know, megacast and ecocast events that we run online, kind of like webinars. So that's my full-time job. Part-time, I really love creating training. And right now, in fact, I'm updating my VMware content to create some all new vSphere 7 training. So lots of content in the works.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I think you said there's going to be 10 courses total in that. That's
yeah, at least 10 courses in the vSphere 7 series. I keep coming up with new ideas, of course, to make it, 11 and 12. And, I think it could go on forever, honestly, because VMware continues to innovate and there's more, goodness released every day, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I wanted to have you on today is you seem like you've had a pretty successful career. Things are going okay for you. And I'm curious if you could think of one piece of career advice that you got at some point that really just changed everything, like kicked things into high gear, or it was a switch that went off in your mind and you were like, I see the future. I know what I must do. Is there one piece of advice that you got that kind of gels for you?
I hate to, burst your bubble here on the first episode and not have just one single advice, but I tried to come up with one and I couldn't just come up with one. But I came up with a few short ones, actually, some silly, some serious. So, I mean, the first one that came to my mind is just you've got to stay hungry, stay thirsty. It reminds me of the most interesting man in the world. He says you've got to stay thirsty.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
That's right. And there's actually a good meme where he says you've got to stay hungry, and he's gained like 200 pounds. So you might want to overlay that here, show that to the viewers because it's pretty funny. But yeah, stay hungry for knowledge, stay thirsty for knowledge, and I feel like thankfully that's I think a gift that I received from a very young age. When I was in 5th grade, I won. It's hard to remember, but the computer literacy contest in my city. I still have the plaque. And I feel like just from a young age, computers and technology have, caught my interest, and I never want to keep, I never want to stop learning,
Right.
And that's the great thing about technology is there's always something more to learn. So, stay hungry, stay thirsty, my friends. I think that's one thing. There was a movie I liked in my 20-somethings called Less Than Zero, which I wouldn't recommend to anybody today. It's not a very motivational movie, but one of the things that Robert Downey Jr. says is his advice to his parents is nobody likes a complacent parent. And I looked up complacent. I thought it was lazy, but complacent actually means smug and too comfortable in your position.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't be complacent, I think is a good tidbit, to learn from there. And then last one, because I know you're trying to keep this short. Scott Skinger, who was the CEO and founder, he was a video training author himself of TrainSignal, who I first started creating video training for. He had this mantra that he called a constant, never-ending improvement. I wrote it down here actually. Constant and never-ending improvement. CANI, CANEI. Actually, I looked it up, and it comes from this Japanese thing that the Japanese used after World War II to boost their economy, and rebuild the whole country. They called Kaizen, something like that.
Mm.
Anyway, the idea here is to never stop improving, keep tweaking, keep changing, just make things better. And that was something he hammered home with all of us as video training authors at Train Signal, which was later bought by Pluralsight for, I believe it was $22 million. Not a small sum of money,
No.
but yeah, a huge success for him and for all the instructors at Train Signal, built on this principle of constant and just never ending improvement. Keep tweaking, keep changing. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but what can we do better today was kind of the mantra. In fact, he had it on his desk. So
Okay.
those are my 3 tidbits of advice.
I like it. I like it. And how have they, I guess, how have they changed your career for the better? What was one major advancement in your career that sort of catapulted you to the next level?
I think I heeded, most of the advice, and just this kind of constant need to learn, by always setting my goals higher, and even higher than what I could realistically maybe do. For example, hey, like, well, I really want to get a CCIE, a Cisco Internet Network Expert certification, but I was just kind of a regular admin at a medium-sized company, and CCIEs were really for, kind of the best of the best, the cream of the crop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just set my goal to do that and kind of tried to do whatever I could possibly do to attain it. And I think I've reproduced that, over and over again. When I want to learn something new, it's not because, hey, I've had years of experience doing this. It's like, hey, I want to learn this thing. I don't know much about it, but that's going to be my goal, and I'm going to kind of shoot for the moon. So I encourage people to try to do that. Set your goal by, hey, I want to get a certification. I want to create a training course on this, because if you can train other people, that's the best. That's the best way to prove that you really know it yourself, right?
Right, right. The reason I'm laughing is because my very first course for Pluralsight was on Terraform. And at the
Yeah.
time, I didn't know that much about Terraform when I pitched the course. Like I was able to get through like the hello world of Terraform, but I could see the potential, and they latched onto it because that was my audition reel. And they're like, that's our number one like search term that we don't have a course for. Do you want to
Right.
do it? And I was like, yes, I will do it for you. And yeah, it's still my most successful course to date. So I mean, like, you just got to do the thing, I guess, is what it comes down to.
That's
That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. I believe
Well,
it's Stephen Foskett who said, you got to do the thing to do the thing.
you
That,
have to.
that's one of his
Yeah,
quotes. Yes.
I'm gonna have to have Steven on at some point. So to summarize your three big pieces, one was stay thirsty. Yeah, stay
Right.
thirsty. Two, don't be complacent. You always got to be learning. And number three, constant and never ending improvement, which sounds exhaustive, but I think it's incremental, right? It's
That's right.
small pieces of improvement that add up to a giant improvement over time. It's almost like that small investment in compound interest. Like once you understand that, it's like, oh my God, the dividends it pays back. So I think that is all the time we have today. Is there anything that you want to promote while I have you?
I mean, I always want to mention my Pluralsight courses, of course. More vSphere 7 content is coming. Install config and introduction courses are out there right now, and networking is out there right now.
Ooh.
Just wrapping up storage. After that, we have availability, resource management, monitoring, troubleshooting, all sorts of great courses in the works. So thank you for that opportunity. But always good to chat with you, Ned. That's one of my bonus tips, is surround yourself with smart people. And
Absolutely.
so good to be chatting with you today. It's hard to do with conferences being canceled, so this is a great way to do it. Stay in touch with experts and people who inspire you.
Absolutely. Well, David Davis, thank you so much for being a guest today on this inaugural episode. And hey, thanks to you for tuning in. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you want to share, that's really appreciated as well. The subscriber count seems to be going up, so I must be doing something right.
I subscribed.
And Hey, see, there we go. And if you want more great technical content, you can also check out my podcast. It's called Day 2 Cloud. That's available on the Packet Pushers Network. And you can follow me on Twitter at Ned1313. Until next time, stay safe, everybody, and thank you.